Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Welcome to the first NASCAR breakdown of the year. Each track plays a little different, so there'll be a different approach on how we attack each race. So this one's going to take place at Daytona. It's a 2.5 mile, it's 75 laps. And just some quick notes and strategy tips for this race. First of all, dominators are not important. With only 75 laps, that leaves around 20 dominator points available, which is not significant enough for us to make it a priority in our lineups. We also want 1 to 2 cars starting inside the top 10, unlike the Daytona 500 where we're just going to stack up all the cars in the back with only 20 cars. An optimal strategy is to pick 1 or 2 cars in the top half. And also, each lineup you make should have a car you think is capable of winning, so when we're playing the Daytona 500, we can just stack cars up in the back and focus on place differential, but in this contest, with the field being so small, finishing position is going to be very important, as well as place differential, so we're going to need someone that wins the race, usually in the winning lineup. And also the Ford cars have been the top dog the past few years. The strongest car have been the Team Penske and Stewart-Haas, which are the Ford cars. We also want to play the back. Place differential is also king at these kind of tracks, so we want guys who can move up and finish strong. And practice doesn't matter for Daytona. We like to look at the practice lap speed for other racetracks, but for Daytona it doesn't matter. This is a restrictor plate race, so everyone will be in a pack drafting, so everyone will be around the same speeds. And it's also okay to leave salary on the table in these kind of tracks. Weeks like this, it's okay to have just plenty of salary remaining. I mean, sometimes over 2,000 is perfectly fine. So we have the qualifying win at 6:30. It was just a random draw, so in the green low numbers here, that's the place they'll be starting in. And just my thoughts on this. So for starters, we can cross off Paul Menard as he's going to be on the pole. There's just no reason to play him. He has no place differential upside, and he's probably going to fall back. So there's just absolutely no reason to play him. Kyle Busch is a very popular name, and will draw some ownership even at that 2 spot. Because of that, we can just avoid him with that high starting spot, and hopefully people still play him. I think it's a terrible play. He'd have to win the race, and he'd have to lead some laps as well. Now, Brad Keselowski is interesting because he and his team usually dominate here, but he's starting so high up, it's hard to justify playing him. He would have to lead a good portion of the laps and win this race for him to be in the winning lineup, and that's just a lot of things that have to go right for him. Newman and Bowman are easy fades for me here. Really not much upside. Harvick and Logano, they're pretty close to the front, but at 6 and 7, I do think there is some value there, as they could easily win this race and get up front and lead laps for a while. So I think they're definitely in play, just not completely strong plays. Austin Dillon is not someone I'm too excited about, but he should have lower ownership as he doesn't have as big a name as some of the other guys. So I think he's just fine. Suarez, I really think is interesting. Right in the middle of the pack. This should keep his ownership down and makes him an excellent GPP play. He's in a Ford this year, which they've been very strong at these tracks, as I've said, so definitely don't mind using him. Could be sneaky as he's not too low down in the starting position, so he's kind of right in that sweet spot. We also have Jimmy Johnson. He has a new crew chief this year, so we'll have to see how that plays out, and it could be shaky to start, so I just wanted to point that out as well. And just to save time, all the guys from 11 and 20 are in play because they have the place differential, and it's a restrictor plate, so they're all in play. I just want to say something about Denny Hamlin. He's going to be very high owned with his name, his pedigree, but he is a fantastic play. But it's always a little optimal to fade the highest owned guys because this is a very random race with the crashing, so it's okay to fade him, but I do think he's a great play because he's been pretty strong at these kind of tracks. There's really not much else to say, so I'll just give you an example of a lineup I put together. We have Joey Logano, Almirola, Hamlin, Blaney, and Kurt Busch is at 19 and Eric Jones at 20. So as you can see, this is just a lineup. I'd recommend making multiple lineups so you can mix and match with, I said there's randomness to the crashing, so you don't want to just get screwed if you have one lineup and the guy crashes early, so then you're out. And yeah, for lineup construction, you're going to want 1 to 2 cars in the top 10 that you think can win the race, and you're going to want 4 to 5 cars starting outside the top 10, and that's basically, you just have to make a few lineups and get a clean one that doesn't have any crashes, and you should be easily cashing. That's kind of the formula for winning these kind of races. Alright guys, that's all I have for the video. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. And I also wrote an article on this. If you'd like to read it, I'll link it in the description below. And good luck this week.